The reaction like back home when you got back in and checked your phone and what have you?
Yeah, it was good. It's always great when it goes to a 6-red shootout, isn't it? So it was just good to get through, you know. And we're here tonight, and we'll just try his best to see what happens, and let his arm go a bit.
You have a little bit of experience when it comes to this competition, Mikey. You've been here before. You know what it takes to get to that final four. Does that give you any confidence coming into this, or is it too different an occasion?
It's just different. It's the format. You just need a bit of luck. Hope you get your chances. You can't expect too much at it, really. Just hope for best.
Have you had plenty of support from home in and around to this one?
Yeah, there's a few lads come up with us. Hopefully, if we get through this one, we'll be bringing a minibus full light. So let's hope luck's on our side and we get through.
Wish you the best, boys.
Thank you.
Well, all aboard the Fisher Tomlinson minibus in the Ultimate Pool Pairs Cup. Lovely to have you with us as we get underway for our final group before the final four. It's Stevie Dempsey with the break for the Dempsey-O'Donoghue partnership. Coming to you via the Emerald Isle, two of the finest Irish players around. I mean, Stevie Dempsey, one of the finest players, full stop, around this year. He has been the form player in the second half of 2023. He's been saved there on the break because that cue ball was heading in, but it's been deflected off course, and they get a chance to get underway here this evening. 20 minutes on the match clock. It is a race to 4 or 0 on the clock, whichever one comes first. You win this match by picking a colour set, potting your yellows or reds, and then potting the 8-ball. That'll win you the frame. Playing international 8-ball rules. And if Carl O'Donoghue and Stevie Dempsey want to go through tonight, they're going to have to not miss balls like that.
Surprising start, that one from Carl. Yeah, I thought that was obviously it was a tricky little pop. You expect him to make it, and then a great chance to go and win the frame and set the tone for them. But in missing it, they have made it awkward on the yellows.
Oh, Pete Fisher almost caught out there by the shot clock. It's 30 seconds for the first 15 minutes of the match. We go to 15 seconds in the last 5 minutes.
If they can get underneath this yellow to left centre, I think the other one goes top right. I mean, they could play a bump if they want to, and they may have to now with the angle they have. Oh, they tried.
Yeah, we did see a spit out last week. I don't think that was this.
It was one of those, he tried to sort of force it and get some movement there, but it looked to me like it was one of those, just top that through. Catch the yellow half ball, it will go right centre, and you leave the yellow bottom right. And maybe, obviously, a little bit unfortunate when that happens. It wasn't a full sort of spit out, it sort of spun round, but possibly the wrong choice of shot as well.
Yeah, I think with the one we saw last week with Cole Bedford, you felt a lot of sympathy. With that one, you're sort of asking for it a little bit, aren't you?
Absolutely. That's not one that I put down to anything other than trying to do a little bit too much.
So Dempsey and O'Donoghue get a reprieve, and they'll be delighted to get that because they can get underway. We are Scotch frame for our first, 4th and 7th, if required, deciding frames. Frames 2, 3, 5 and 6 are all singles as all the players play each other. If you're sitting there unsure, Scotch just means alternate shots.
Nicely played. Perfectly on this one on the left, just to drop it in, and you're near the straight, and you're all good.
Well, you got the sense from their interview side, if you don't know these two, they are terrific fun, and they do like to really mess about with each other quite a bit. But don't let the their comedic side fool you. In two guys here, they are just about the most competitive blokes I've ever met, actually. As soon as they're into it, You'd struggle to meet anyone more competitive than these two.
Yeah, good friends off the table. The way they sort of needle each other is entertaining to watch.
The Carl O'Donoghue facials are always enjoyable. But as I say, they are two of the finest players in Ireland and in plenty of other lands as well.
Look at that bio for Stevie, though. 4 titles, 2 last year, 2 this year. He's had 3 other finals this year.
I think that's been the impressive thing, isn't it? Not just winning, but when he's not winning, he's going so deep in every single competition. 3 finals this year is... 3 finals and 2 victories is astonishing.
Yeah, and there's been other semi-finals. He was 3rd in the Players' Championship as well. There's been quarter-final semi. He's been just relentless, he has. And one thing to point out as well, when we talk about one of the runner-up finishes, it was against Craig Waddingham in the last Monday night show we had, the Champions League. Stevie trying to retain, and we talk about how volatile a format it is on the Monday night, and he made it all the way through to the final before being stopped by Craig Waddingham.
Well, that red going in for Michael Tomlinson is huge. He had a good break there in a weird way. Didn't seem to split the pack massively well, but he got a couple of balls down and all of a sudden can start his visit. But he looked really messy at the top of the table. But that red squeezing in means he's got a chance. And he's a player who won't mind leaving himself distance. He's a fantastically crisp potter of a ball.
This is interesting. I was about to make the point that the 3 around the 8 ball connect to each other really, really nicely. And it's the case of when do you go up for the one at the top, because the 8 ball wants to go bottom left. So he's taking it now. And as long as he gets to somewhere near the same line as he is now on the red by his cue, he's perfect. That's fine. He can just come on and off the cushion, leave himself on the one bottom left. With the angle he has, he does have to just pick the gap. So the pace of this shot is the key. Just let it drift on and off, and the gap between the yellows and the 8 ball. Well, decided he couldn't hold, so he's played into it, but that's worked just as well.
Yeah, lovely break and clearance from Michael Tomlinson. Super player. Great to watch as well. Put him in a similar sort of bracket as someone like a Craig Waddingham, actually, in the sense that he maybe sort of plays a little bit different to a lot of people because he backs his potting to the absolute hilt, so he doesn't mind leaving what others might think, oh, it's a bit, I can get better on this, we'll go another way. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a really good comp, actually. A player that will try and match a pattern to his potting ability, and he won't care whether someone else might find a way to make it simpler or easier or cleaner or whatever. He'll just back what he's trying to do out there. And as I said before, and he really is a fantastic clean potter of the ball. Carl O'Donoghue, a different sort of player. He's very much an all-round game. Not the best of breaks in terms of the strike, and that's why he's not got the best of splits here. Stevie Dempsey just stood up just to see if there was anything he could work out for Carl, what sort of layout it is. There, if Carl needs it. Of course, they can talk. So he's going to be aggressive. Red to bottom left and fire into the cluster. Far from guaranteed to go well, this.
He'll take that, especially if this red squeezes left middle. If it doesn't, can he get through to the one at the top?
For a second,
or is he sort of snookered?
I think he's in trouble here. I thought he was going to be perfect. I thought if he just lands on the one below the cue ball, to the left of the cue ball as we look now, to the bottom left corner, he'd be flying. But it's just gone past the the yellow, and I'm not even sure if this pots. So it's a tricky plant with short position. Oh, he'll be disappointed. He'll be very disappointed with his cue ball. If the cue ball goes one more turn back and he can see the red, he's out here. Don't get me wrong.
Plays it any firmer, he probably misses it, though.
Exactly. He can still get out, though, because he's got the red bottom right. So clear the two at the top and try and get down onto the bottom right and then play short position again. It is obviously all eggs in one basket, but
he's got the game we play sometimes.
Yeah, we've got this far into it. And there's no good safety options, really. Wait, I suppose he could play down the table and play safe. Well, he's decided to come down for it now and hasn't got there. On that line, there's just very little margin of error. No attempt to pot that. Just containing, really, asking a question of Pete.
Yeah. And it's a good question of him, because yellows are not easy here. That's a very clever shot.
Yeah, another 2 turns on the cue ball, though, and he would have regretted it. It would allow Carl to play this one to right centre and track down. I wonder if he can play the gap. If he plays the gap, can he turn the red enough to make the plant? Oh, he's gone the double to get there. Inventive.
Well, it puts all the pressure on Pete Fisher, because I'm sure Carl can find a way to work these reds out from here. It was a really clever shot, actually, from Pete, the last one he played. Developed his really difficult ball.
He's still got a problem, though, hasn't he?
Oh, hasn't he just, yeah.
How does he deal with these yellows? I suppose, can he play short position, slide past the yellow? Both yellows actually go. You've got the one in between the 2 reds does go bottom left. So if you can land on the other one to the top of the table or to the centre pocket, you'd have a chance. But you've got to move the cue ball a long way to land on short position, which is very tough. But is that better than the safety? Because there isn't much safety, unless he feels he can get the snooker on the one by the pocket.
He'd look for the loss of turn there. It's not a terrible outcome.
I quite like that as a choice of shot, you know. If he does get the loss of turn, say the yellow stays somewhere near the pocket, he's gained control in the frame. And he still has anyway with where it's gone. He hasn't quite got the loss of turn, but he's still very much in this one. Very even tactical exchange here.
Yeah, and this is a really, really key frame. Look at the match clock now ticking down. Don't think either pairing will get to 4.
Oh, Carl O'Donoghue, that is very clever. What a shot.
Carl O'Donoghue pulls something out the fire here. Watch this.
So it's like a 4-ball plant billiard. It's an amazing shot. It really is. It looks obvious now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what a shot that is. Has to clip off his red and then make a 4-ball plant.
That's spectacular from a wing. It really is. Pete Fisher looks a little bit gobsmacked.
Yeah, I thought it was an even tactical exchange. No, not at all.
Yeah, but how on earth didn't you see that, Pete, when you tried to play that safety? Goodness me. Well, Carl O'Donoghue has pulled a rabbit out of the hat. What a shot that was.
It's one of those shots that I'm sat here thinking, how have I not seen that? Because I know that if I was sat next to Chris Melling, he would have been nudging me going, oh my God, he's left such an easy shot. And I was like, sure, Chris, yeah. It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I thought that frame was due to go on a little bit longer, but it is ended in some style by Carl O'Donoghue. So we go 2-1, about 6 minutes remaining. Maybe a little bit less by the time the balls are racked and ready.
Stevie Dempsey turned to chief cheerleader in that frame, just applauding every shot Carl played there at the end. That was something else.
So 6 minutes left on the nose. Pete Fisher with the break. And that is a howitzer. How'd you like those?
Oh, does he have an opening red? Because the yellow at the bottom doesn't go. But all the reds do if he's got an opener. Reds aren't great, to be fair. You've got to play... I think he can clip the one in the centre, so you've got to play a really good first positional shot. And if you do land, then you've got to play a brilliant second positional shot. And even the 8 ball doesn't go the way you'd want it to go to bottom left. So the reds just... They look okay, they're not. They're far from it.
Yeah, and his opening yellow is a plant.
Well, the yellow at the bottom may go then, the way they're looking here.
Just feel a bit for them, actually, because that's such a good break by any metric by Pete Fisher. Actually, both colour sets have come out a little bit awkward.
Well, now they've made the plant. If the yellow at the bottom that I said doesn't go, if it does go, and you look on the overhead, it doesn't look like it, but from the main camera, maybe a little bit more likely. If that goes, then this is wide open, and the plant has given them the chance they need. They may be playing the cannon now. Yeah, so it doesn't go. It's a lovely shot. No, another one required.
Yeah. Really like the choice here.
Attack it early.
It was thin, though.
Yeah, and the reds now are wide open, unfortunately for them. Such fine margins in these games. There's... You know, that comes out a shade less thin, shall we say. They're out there, and we're all square.
Just about okay, I think. Pete and Michael immediately looking to Carl's reaction to see if he's on it.
I think Carl's reaction was more for Stevie. It was kind of like, really? Have you nearly gone wrong? He really is a character. He really is.
And they are 100% playing a little bit of clock here.
It's the one thing
they could rattle through these. Yeah. But the extension called on a straight black. And Carl O'Donoghue goes and takes a pew. And Stevie Dempsey will make sure that cue is in pristine condition. It is an awkward situation out there as a player. No one likes doing it, but...
Stevie's fully aware, though. He's the best. We've talked about this before. For me, he's the best in the world at the clock management. He's understood that part of the game quicker than anybody else.
2:52 left on the clock. Yeah, he's certainly in the conversation, and I think I agree with you, actually.
Yeah,
in terms of the best, I think Stevie would probably be that. And
there's a couple in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, the reason why we say that is the evidence in the Monday nights, especially when the shot clock pressure is so incredibly sharp. It's just relentless, and you're in the maelstrom. Really, you've got to figure it out so quickly, whilst so many other things are going on. And he has that clarity of thought, which is the envy of just about everybody else, really.
Well, we saw it in full force at the Last Man Standing Ireland last weekend. He had to win 10 matches, or he played 10 matches, ended up losing in the final. But amazing to go through in short races and keep doing it time after time after time.
Crazy run, that. Great break that from Stevie Dempsey.
That will be that. He will run this down slowly. May make the clearance, but it won't be... he'll be using 15 on every single shot.
That's the patented Stevie Dempsey break. When he's playing really well and he's breaking really, really well, that's the break that he hits. Keep an eye on the yellow into that left centre pocket. It's the break that he found here at the Grand Slam in 2022, and hasn't really left it ever since. Players like that. Be quite superstitious. Something worked really well for you, you might just stumble upon it. But why change? It served him incredibly well.
Yeah, everybody wants to find that secret, but often goes wandering.
Yeah, it's not like it's bulletproof. It's not like it works all the time, every time, but it works enough.
Yeah. On this occasion, he's not actually too worried about the clock. He is sort of half managing it, but a really good chance here. Although he's actually just left himself a couple of turns too much angle. I think if he just drops this in, he rolls a little bit too far for the final yellow. And so he's going to dig it.
Great shot. Well, they have had moments of fallibility in this match, Dempsey and O'Donoghue. But as they did in their group, and as this man in particular has had a habit of doing in recent months, they found a way to win. Stevie Dempsey and Carl O'Donoghue get the victory over Pete Fisher and Mikey Tomlinson. Perfect start for the Irishman, who go top of the group with everyone still to play.